the idea of it is if you have no way of using Chime or using your CRM effectively, then there's no way to be aggressively handling your business.
All right, we got a lot of people in. Excellent. Let us know what city and state you're from. Let us know. Is it hot or cold? Is it snowing? Is it raining? I want to know. I mean, why not, right? We want to know. And while you're doing that, I just happened to be talking to Wyoming. Freezing and windy, damn. Stephen Christie. And for those of you who don't know Stephen, he's a brilliant real estate agent and business owner. He's been in real estate for longer than I've been in real estate. When I started in real
32
estate,
years.
in the same area as you.
Yep.
I was always like, damn, dude, this guy's killing it. He's like, I would always look at the things that you're doing to kind of set kind of the pace for what I would be doing, right? So you really set the tone for a lot of us in the area. So thank you for that, Stephen. You're awesome, man. So kind of fun to be talking to you about planning and just really getting that engagement up. What are the fundamental skills that we really need to focus on with 2023 coming on?
Really, I want to have an idea and conversation about how to feel, how to be, because I've been in through 2 shifts. So I understand a shift of a market. I understand the feeling of agents because I'm hearing it a lot today. Done a couple talks out there, and I'm hearing like what is going on. So if you haven't been an agent in a shift, you really are kind of like, where am I going to be? What am I going to do? And that comes back to this conversation. The conversation, and we talked about it, is the role of engagement. What are you going to do today to enable yourself to engage into the market, to go back to some basics that are important to you, but also what is your conversation in this process? So I say, what's your plan of attack, right? So instead of, there's 2 options. One, you can freeze up and wait and hope the market goes back, or you can engage, enhance, and know what you can do well, And so what I mean by that is you have to find your lane and not wait, but find your lane today. And that lane is going to be really a part of how you approach your leads, how you approach your day. You got to get off I did it this way for so long and it worked, and all of a sudden it's not. And it's okay, right? We always know that the reason that Tristan's been in the marketplace for as long as he has and I have is because we knew how to pivot to adapt, right? The pivot is important, and that's what I really want to feel and understand what people are going through today, because I have a team, and we all know our teams are all going, okay, direct, help, direct, let's go. And I look at it as, okay, let's start out with the layout, right? So, Tristan, what is the basic layout? And put it on here, put it on chat. What is your layout for each day? How are you approaching each day? How's the start? How's the finish?
Dude, that is, so everyone, please do that. What does your day start like when it comes to your personal life and then your business life? Like, what's the first thing that you do? And you know what, Stephen, we don't often talk about it, but I'd like to at least touch on it really quick. When it comes to us going through at the beginning of the year and looking at it with a real estate lens and saying, wow, it's going to be another amazing year, because we just came out of 2021. It was probably the best year that most agents have ever had in their entire life. And then you're halfway through 2022, heading in towards the 3rd quarter, and you're like, crap, this is not looking good. How do you deal with the disappointment of not reaching those goals when a lot of how you feel is tied to your goals?
And that's a great question, because you have to turn around and look at opportunity, right? And you don't sit there and deal with, oh my God, it's not hitting where I was hitting, because you have a changed market. So please be aware first, there's some things you can control and there's some things you can't control. But the things you can control, you have to, and go back to that engagement. So let's talk about the first thing I look at, right? Layout. What's a layout of your days? Well, how's the layout of your game plan? Because it affects you. You go, wait, I'm not going to hit it. And you and I know we have goals. We already have business plans. We already have every member of the team understanding each lead generation source. And we already have this way of doing it. Now we see less leads coming in, right? And like, oh my gosh, there's less leads. And all of a sudden you see, oh, that's managed inventory. We thought inventory would just go and go and go now, right? But then you have both buyer and seller sit on this fence because of the fact that they don't know what to do. They want to be perfect timing. And we know there is no perfect timing. The timing is what is the need and want to move forward. So then we go back to Tristan, what's your conversation? And I see you do a lot. I see your video, your conversation to engage people to understand, let them think. It's like, you have a jury, right? And a great attorney knows that if he speaks to the jury and he puts in their subliminal mind what he wants the result to look like, and they receive it in a great way, engaging without saying, right? Then the delivery is going to be amazing, right? I think we need to re-understand the delivery has to change. Like read the room, that kind of thing. So, and that's how, I look at people and going, you have two options. One, you can stay in fear, or you can plan the attack. And to me, I'm never one to stay in fear. I'd rather just have the attack. So then the first thing I want to say is that we talked about, and we start a little bit, and I know it's kind of the basic thing, but there should be 4 activities in your day, right?
Oh, okay. So, what are those?
So let's go through it. So first thing is your productive activities. That means like all your new business coming in, right? Maybe your farming or your calls or your door knocks or what you ever do. You have to have an amount of time in that day to get those items completed. Because if you're not doing a productive part and you're only doing your cleanup part, what happens in 2 months? There's no business, right? So a productive part of the day, and I always say productive, be done, have that going the first part, because that's your freshest time of your day. You don't have, when you go through a day, you don't have all the negativity hitting you, right? So I always say silence is golden. That's your silence time, right?
Yeah.
The second part is gotta be the follow-up part you put in your day, right? The worst thing that an agent has is follow-up. And we know it. We promote follow-up, make sure you hit it, make sure we have all these great tools, right? We have our top 10 list, we have our task list. Are we really paying attention? Are we building a CRM not to pay attention to it? Are we using the tools to make it effective? So first part, there's a part of production. Now there's a part of follow-up. Now here you get to have your admin time, which everybody likes the best, because they go, oh, admin, I can just do whatever, right? Your admin time is really to understand that you're working on your business and your market. And your admin time is to go, hey, if we have a team, let's have that discussion for an hour right now and decide all your things I gave you. Are you on task to those things that we discussed? Are your videos being done? On your admin time, do your videos. Plan those videos because you want them out. You want to engage your market, from your emails to your social media, everything. Also, deal with your listings and escrows that have to be done, but only on the admin time. So let's go back to how you control your life, right? Yeah. You control your life by how you handle your clients. Your clients know communication is key. But if you're kind of tell your client, look, I follow up with you in this time every day. If you need me, I will make sure to call you. Unless it's emergency, let me know, but let you understand this is how I run my day to keep your listing active and things going straight. So make sure people understand that you will get back, right? Don't let them own you, because that's what happens to an agent. Sure. When a market changes, agents get desperate. So think about that. All of a sudden, the way you used to communicate and be, you are in control. All of a sudden, now you feel you have to do all these other things because that's what your consumer is saying. And they're not saying that. They see you as a professional, you get to be that person. They just want you to be available for them, right?
Stephen, how do you set those boundaries so that it feels like you're communicating well and we feel like we're not all over the place? And because at this point, you're right, where a lot of agents feel like they don't know now what they're doing. They're losing control of their time. and then they're feeling anxiety, nervousness, and now they're like, well, should I have no business? And they're losing it. So how do we get control of that better?
Communication. So what you're doing up front with them is telling them how important they are, and how you want to make sure that you are available to be that person for them on the structure of schedule. They want someone who has a system in place. The number one thing that we know is people don't have systems in place, or they don't follow them, right? I always communicate in front, like, here's the time I follow up. If you have a need, I will call you back in this time for sure, every day, no matter what. But if I'm in an appointment, I can't call you. Is that okay to understand that? And they're like, yeah, totally. Because if I'm in an appointment with you, Tristan, I'm not going to turn around and stop my appointment and go receive a phone call. So my day is filled with making sure I take care of you the way you need to be taken care of, and understand how they want to communicate. You know this as well as I. Hey, they don't sometimes want calls. They want a text. They want an email. So, when you want to get your price reductions, give a system to the price reduction. Like, if you're not giving them updates on one day a week and then calling in the next day to get your price reduction, it's a fail. They need to feel it. Don't call the same day. Let them feel the new value points going on. Let them understand it. Let them sleep on it, because they need that. The next day you call and go, look at, want to follow up from my email. So what I say in this process is, it's the way you choose to communicate and the way you show your client how you do it. Then they respect you in that way.
I like
expectations.
That, man.
That's what I say.
So you're setting the tone, you're setting the communication system. And a lot of us are coming into real estate with no actual business background. So we're kind of all over the places. We've never run a business. That's what our clients are feeling, right? They're kind of feeling like they're all over the place too, because we're all over the place. And that's the challenge, right?
So, and then the fourth part is your appointment time. And that falls into what we just talked about, right? So you got to put it on your schedule when you will be going on appointments. Because if you don't structure your appointment time, like Tristan, you're saying to me, hey, I want to see this home. Great, Tristan. Let me see what times are available. Hold on a sec. Hey, you know what? I have between 3 and 4. Is that going to work for you? And then if they go, well, I go, well, that's the only time the seller will let me. Would that still be okay? Guess what they say? Yeah, that works. Perfect. I'll see you at 3. Now, this is actually your set appointment time.
So I love that for this reason. And I'm telling you from experience, and I think I learned this from you, because I heard this way a long time ago. And it's when I would do this and I have this appointment time, and appointment time would come and I wouldn't have an appointment, I'd be like,
that's the next phase.
What am I doing to set an appointment for tomorrow? Because I don't want to feel like this.
And that's where you go back into, if you don't have an appointment, it's called lead follow-up or prospect. You got to do one or the other. Go back to your top 10, go back to your leads. If you do expireds, go to expireds, get engaged. You go look at, if I don't have an appointment, I have a problem. That's how I go home, right? But most people will go home going, oh, guess it wasn't a good day. I go, no, my day's not done. I had this 2 hours set for appointments or 3 hours. I'm going to finish my day strong, knowing that I actually worked towards something. And you'd be amazed, because everybody gives up the control of what they have. Everybody didn't work the last 2 days. You know what? I don't know if this is working. And you understand, it's not a 2-day game. This is a lifetime game. So the game's got to go, I'm really going to commit to a 90-day process. I'm going to commit to running a schedule for 90 days without interference, distractions. I'm going to commit to myself. I got to tell you, no matter what market you are in and you do that commitment, your game is going to change. No one's going to be able to catch you. You've already it's like, we can't go to the gym tomorrow and go, hey, I'm going to lift 300 pounds. How are you going to do that? Well, just got to pick it up and go, right? No, because you're going to die. You're going to fall over. You're going to have this chest that's just been knocked out, and you're not going to hopefully breathe. But if you go back to the gym, go look at, I got a 90-day process. I'm going to start this weight, go, and then I'm going to hit it. You have a better chance in the 90 days to secure it than you do if you just go at it the first day and say, I did it, or I didn't do it and it didn't work. that make sense?
Yeah, I want to extract something from what you just said, because we're gonna miss this because we're engaged with taking notes. Here's the part that he said that's so important that you may have overlooked as you're listening to Stephen, and that's that your focus now is not on the actual production of something resulting from what you're doing. Your focus
Yeah.
is on you becoming better. And when that shifts, happening through you, through the things that you're doing, you're like, oh, I got it. The purpose of everything that I'm doing is just to become better at what I'm doing, the craft, right? The purpose-driven life. All of a sudden, it's not the goal of making money, because if the goal of making money is the key, you're going to feel like shit every day. And
It's
some
the
days
goal
you're
of
going to be
taking
amazing.
action.
It's like, yes, it's an action-driven life. And that is the key right there, dude. That's why I love that. Great point. Great
We
point.
have the golden rule, right? The golden rule as an agent has been in the business. You never talk about money or closes. You just let the actions keep duplicating the actions. That's it. Because the day you talk about, the real estate god's very temperamental. so, so you got to kind of understand that, get in line, do your job, and let's get everything closing. So
interesting. So it's like Fight Club. We don't talk about it. So it's like real estate. We don't talk about the money. It's a good one.
That's right.
That's very funny.
Right?
So tell me then, how are you incorporating a CRM like Chime into what you're doing or into what the team is doing?
That's
so
perfect.
It falls into
So I'm going to go through thoughts on that, right? So that's perfect because it runs into each pattern, right? So number one, how are you running your CRM? So you're feeding your CRM, whether you do it on a level of having information brought in or leads brought in, and you're working these leads, right? But here's the thing that I find really interesting from people I've coached, people I've talked to, people who ask questions. They don't label anything. So what is your strategy to know who to call next, who's most important? You have all the tool in there. So are you really labeling your things? Are you in the right pipeline for your lead, right? Did you put a task on your lead, right? Did you put a smart plan in your lead? See, the thing is, you don't understand. You're just looking for someone to wave their hand. That's really all you're doing. But at the same time, you're doing the follow-up from the task that you put in. You know who the best prospects are. You're going after those, right? And then I go backwards, right? And I go, okay, so if you're doing that, then where do you actually trail the lead from, right? So like, we know that sellers, you want to have a home bot system. You want to have ways to understand updates to them monthly, weekly, whatever way you want to by their communication. It lets them get information. And when they're getting information, they're getting it from who? You, right? So you need to understand how you want your seller leads to come in and how you're going to work on that. On the buyer prospects, you have buyer prospects with no engagement. So why are they in your CRM? If you don't have a way of search engagement for them to be seeing things, on an instantly, not weekly, like an instant thing that comes to the actual MLS, bam, they should get it. You should get the email, understand it, and knock it out. So being more effective in your CRM and how you use Chime is always going to be your key. But what I find is most people love that they have a CRM, but they don't do anything effectively with it. So they go, wow, this is not working. So, and past clients. So you have this great opportunity for past clients to have communication driven through. You can have videos driven through. And if you don't have enough past clients, then put some spare influence in there, right? All you can do is be the person they know in real estate. That's all really, don't expect everybody to go, oh gosh, Stephen's got into real estate. Then they forget the next day. But then when you keep on duplicating to them, then they go, you know what, he knows more than he actually, I thought he did, By chance, I may have to give him a call. Or by chance, I'm going to refer someone else to him. But the idea of it is if you have no way of using Chime or using your CRM effectively, then there's no way to be aggressively handling your business.
That's true. That's very true. Trenton, anything you want to add as far as the CRM, things that you've seen that teams or agents do at a high level that kind of fall in line with what Stephen is saying?
Well, I guess I was kind of just, you mentioned the whole planning of following along with your whole system that you have. What happens when you start missing some of those days? How do you get back on track, and use that CRM to help you keep on track? Because
You
especially when you
know,
mentioned the appointment time and like how you would be able to miss
yeah.
that, and it's like, well, how do you fill that time? And some people might think, well, I kind of have the day off or something, but how do they keep that motivation to keep going?
Okay. And that's a great question. So the number one thing I know, that when you have a shift of a market, you double down, right? You don't sit there and do the same things that another market gave you to do. So for that example, Trenton, I'm saying is you have to turn around and know that appointments are important, and follow-up is just as important, right? So what I will do sometimes at nighttime, when I have silent time, again, just go through who are my top people and make sure the high score in your database is going to be contacted next. So you label them up and you get them set up, and that's the next day's calls. So you don't forget, like you said, because you can't forget the top people. The other people will keep coming in and out, but your top people you can't forget, and that's what people are forgetting. So as I always say, your lead is in someone else's database. Who's going to get to it first? Right? So I'd rather not have someone else get to it first. So I will go back and go, okay, I had a busy day. I have to put those that go back to my schedule and re-engage and recommit to my next day, because you're going to get off. You're going to get off. Things are going to happen for you, but you have to be strong enough to go, it will work, and trust that your schedule will work, and go after your database the way you're supposed to. That's as simple as I can make it.
I like that, man. And that's simple enough, because I think we overcomplicate being in real estate and being productive. We just seem to overcomplicate it. Right.
Yeah. I mean, you know what, too? And I'll give you another thing I find important. You have the ability to listen to your phone calls. You ever listen to your own phone calls? So, you can actually learn from yourself sometimes, listening to the communication you're having. I used to do listing presentations and record them while I was at the presentation. And that was the old days when we had briefcases, and Chris was like, yeah, those days, that 1990, my friend. So the idea was I recorded and I'd go back in my car and listen to it on the way home. Like, oh my gosh, is that what I sound like? And I learned to be better at the conversation and the communication at the appointment, And I think the same thing is when you have some downtime in the nighttime, listen to some of your phone calls. See how you're approaching. Are you asking questions? Are you engaging the client? Are you exciting, or are you boring? Are you pacing the client? There's so many things that you can be so good at, linguistic training, that you need to know, that makes and determines whether you're going to actually get the deal or not. Because they go, I like talking to Trenton. He makes a lot of sense. No one talks like him. And that's when people start engaging to, what they're going to get into. You don't have to be the perfect person. You just got to be the perfect you, and that's what I look at.
Got it, man. That's beautifully said. I love this. All right. So where do people find more about you? How do people get to you? How do people ask you questions? Where do we find you, man?
You can find me everywhere on social media. You can, you can email me everywhere too. I'm at Stephen@ChristieRealty.com, but you can email me. We engage team meetings. We engage a lot of different things going on, and you can get part of it. Sometimes you want to be on a Zoom with our team, or you can, we do a lot of fun stuff. Here, thing I go by is abundance, right? Abundance to me is I give out and receive, but I love to give out first, because I know that everybody goes through the same thing. Everybody, the more you give, just by itself, your life grows. So, I love the conversation, but my biggest thing is, let's help the presentation. Let's help the understanding of how to deliver. Let's get off the negativity of the conversation going on and get back to the opportunity that the conversation has to go out.
And for those of you who caught some of this or want to rewatch it, we're on YouTube. This will be uploaded by the end of the day, I think by the end of today, on the
Great.
Chime CRM YouTube channel. So go there. I put up the link, subscribe. And Stephen, dude, it's always nice having you, man. We should do this in person next time because you're not far
That'd
from
be
me.
great. That'd be a lot of fun. You know what? We got to do that. All right.
That would be fun,
All
bro.
right, guys. Well,
right.
I appreciate having time with you guys. It's always, again, it's always a pleasure, Tristan. We always laugh about a lot of good stuff. And you know what? We're in the same market. Let's go hang out sometime. Okay.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks so much. Keep crushing it.
All right, guys.